Hello, friends, and happy full moon. This is my favorite time of the month to really just check in with myself and with all of you and really take the time to just review. So, the full moon is always an illumination of the intentions that we set with the full moon in our, cycle. And it's a perfect time to really sit and ask yourself what has been cultivated in the last month. Where am I at? Where am I at with my goals? Where am I at with my intentions? Where am I at with the things that I am manifesting in my life? So again, this is my favorite time to just check in. This is the corn moon. Our moon that we are experiencing right now is in, like the farmer's almanac and things like that are referred to as the corn moon. And I do believe that that is because the corn is, kind of ready to be harvested at this point in time. The full moon is in Pisces. So Pisces is very much so in service of others, very selfless, very spiritual, very much so just like goodness, nurturing, those types of things. So our full moon is in Pisces and the sun is in Virgo. So Virgo is a little different here. Virgo is very efficient, very production oriented, and very much so structured, and I would say even more tangible. Whereas the Piscean energy is very like more so esoteric, like things that you can't necessarily see, feel, touch, all those types of things. The Pisces is a water element. So water is the second heaviest element out of the five elements. And water is very much so represented by flow, ease, adaptability, your ability to move and bend as needed. Whereas Virgo is an earth element. So this is the heaviest element out of the five elements, is the earth element. And this is very foundational, very structured, very efficient, and just very much so in that grounded essence. So we have the sun and the moon, the oppositions that we're dealing with right now, the energy that's surrounding us. That Virgo being very methodical and efficient, and then the Pisces that is very much so like, spiritual and selfless and caring for others. I think that if you took a moment to look around, that you would see that these energies are very present with us right now. And this is heavy. These energies are heavy, even though there is no good or bad. They're just very heavy. And it's so important for us to, number one, stay grounded. That Virgo energy is going to help us connect to the earth and really stay present and grounded in this time, so that we don't get lost, we don't get overwhelmed, those types of things. Know who you are, where you're at, where your roots are planted, kind of thing. And as always, find balance between the two, between the very spiritual and the very structural, like try and find that balance between the two. And if this is very, very much so emotional, so our water signs are always more emotional. So if you haven't already experienced that, because today is the full moon, September 2nd, and here where I'm at anyways, on the eastern side of the United States, it is very emotional. I'll give you a real quick story. I've been dealing with an array of emotions lately, between stress, anxiety, worry, all these things. Not to mention just like welling up huge feelings towards people in a positive manner also. But I went to pick up these pictures from my kids' school. And of course, one of my kids is in an older grade, one of them's in a younger grade. So I had to go two different buildings, two different entrances. So I go over, I pick up my daughters, everything's fine, got that. And these pictures were taken, like, I want to say in like February of this year. So because of, the current situation, all of that got kind of like prolonged and prohibited, and we never got the pictures, so on and so forth. So I went and picked up my daughters. So I go over to my son's school to pick up his, and they're like, sorry, we don't have them. And normally I would just be like, oh, well, that's interesting. I'll go check my records and I'll contact the company and just make sure that it wasn't my error, or, maybe I didn't order any pictures. I don't know. I still don't know. But I immediately was just angry. Like, I was angry. Like, I could just feel this rage of like, will you check them again? And he checks them again, and he's like, yeah, I don't have them. And I was just like, instantly like, this is bullshit, like, why is this happening? And it really wasn't that important, but I was so mad. And it probably took me like 45 minutes to really overcome like being so angry and irritated and just like, I don't know, it was awful, but it was just like this explosion of emotion. It wasn't like it was like slow, like, oh, that's aggravating. Like, that kind of pisses me off. It was like zero, like, da da da, getting these pictures to like, what, So, yeah, it's a super emotional time. So watch those emotions because they will get the best of you. And another thing is that I really have seen come up is our beliefs are being challenged at this time. And not only are they just being challenged, they may just be asking to be observed. What are your beliefs? What are you holding on to as a belief? And what are you willing or ready to let go of as a belief? So your beliefs may be being challenged. And to help us through this time, mind, body, and soul practices are going to really help balance out that Virgo and Pisces, and also those like, overwhelming emotions and things like that. So it is so important to find a practice or practices, various different practices that can really approach your mental, emotional, and physical, spiritual self. So yoga is a great practice. Not all yoga is created equally. So I wouldn't say that all yoga is a mind, body, and soul practice. Some of them are very physically intensive, and that's the purification that particular type of yoga is looking for, the detoxification of the physical body. So finding things like yoga, maybe a moving meditation practice like Qigong, Tai Chi, all of those things where you're really trying to clear your mind, connect to your body, ground yourself. So I'm not an expert in all martial arts and things like that. Running is a wonderful way to clear your head and to connect to the earth and your physical body. All kinds of activities, exercises. I seen a friend of mine on Instagram the other day put weightlifting is therapeutic, and if that's the way you feel about it, if it helps you clear your head, get your head straight, get your mind right, and connect to your physical body, ground yourself to the earth, that in of itself is also a mind-body practice. So really keep that in mind. Keep an open mind to your intuition. During the full moon, our intuitions are always stronger anyways. This particular moon is really pulling on your intuition, your gut feeling. So if something is, you feel like some little bird is just whispering in your ear, nudging you in one direction or the other, be open to that. Keep your mind open. So there's a few questions that I would really like you to consider asking yourself. I am using these as my journaling questions for the next couple of weeks before we get to our new moon cycle. So number one, where do you need nurturing or nurtured? Where do you need nurtured? Is there a particular place or space in your life, your mind, your body, your soul, that you feel like needs embraced and nurtured? Where can you take a step back, release control, and allow flow to come through your life? Is there a place that you're micromanaging? Is there a space that you're being overwhelmed or overbearing or overwhelming to yourself, to those in your environment, to your home? Is there anywhere that you can just release and let go and allow flow to come through your life? Now, the third one, I have just a couple of things that go into this. So, part A, what are some shadows that are coming up for you right now? Shadows being things that we don't necessarily wear on our sleeves, or things that we just allow to be open for view to the public, to ourselves even. Is there any shadowy things that are coming up for you that you just need to acknowledge and be with right now? And the part B to this, what part of yourself would you like to know better or understand more? Is there a piece or part of yourself, of your character, your mentality, things that come up that you don't necessarily understand? Maybe it is that anger. For me, like this angry outburst that I had, like about these pictures. Why am I like that? Why did that happen? What is going on for me right now? Whatever it might be. What part of yourself would you like to know better or understand more? So the process that we go through whenever we come to these things that we want to know more, become more acquainted with about ourselves, is to acknowledge it, whatever it is, whatever attribute. Inquire, get curious, and ask questions. Inquire to yourself, what's going on here? Why is this like this? Who am I? What part of me is this? And then express so much gratitude towards that part of you, even if it is a shadowy, less lightful thing. Show gratitude to every single part of yourself. That's what makes you you. So that's all that I have for you today. I hope these are good journaling prompts for you. I hope this brings a little bit of understanding towards the Pisces full moon that we're having here in September. And just as a little side, tidbit that I like to overly, always find these little extra unnecessary, I guess, details, is the harvest moon is normally in September. But we will not have the harvest moon in September this year. We will have 2 full moons in October. And the first one, which is on October 1st, is going to be the harvest moon. So we have that to look forward to next month on the very 1st. I hope you all are enjoying your full moon time, really connecting in, grounding yourself, making your moon water, charging your crystals, all the great things that we have to do throughout the next tonight, tomorrow night, maybe even the next night. Maybe you did them, a couple days before the full moon. But that is all that I have planned for you today. Thank each one of you for joining me, and I will see you next time.